Welcome to Good Doctrine Video Blog Episode 5. In this episode, we are going to talk about Lehi's dark and dreary wilderness from Lehi's dream. I don't know about you, but I am so tired of being in spiritual darkness. Hopefully, there's something we can learn from this. First, let's go and review a scripture from the last episode. Doctrine and Covenants, section 84, verse 54. And your minds in times past have been darkened because of unbelief, and because you have treated lightly the things that you have received. I find myself feeling that I am in this exact situation. D&C 93 talks about light and how light is part of God's nature. The glory of God is intelligence, or in other words, light and truth. Light and truth forsake the evil one. And that wicked one cometh, and taketh away light and truth, through disobedience from the children of men, and because of the tradition of their fathers. You can see that there is a constant struggle between darkness and light. We're told in D&C 84 that the reason that we struggle with darkness so much is because we take for granted and we don't use the things that God has given us, those gifts. So now let's go to the Book of Mormon, Lehi's dream. You will remember that the focal point of Lehi's dream was the tree of life. It emanated light, a light unlike anything earthly that Lehi had ever seen. But he didn't start out here in this picture. In 1 Nephi 8, he said he thought he saw himself in a dark and dreary wilderness. And it came to pass that I saw a man, and he was dressed in a white robe, and he came and stood before me. And it came to pass that he spake unto me, and bade me follow him. And it came to pass that as I followed him, I beheld myself that I was in a dark and dreary waste. Wait, what's going on here? This guy dressed in white doesn't actually take him to the tree. And in fact, Lehi goes from being in a dark and dreary wilderness to a dark and dreary waste. He is no better off than he was before, even though he followed the guy in white. What's going on? Maybe this man should not be portrayed in the Book of Mormon videos as an angel. Perhaps he is just a man. I don't know what that man would look like. He's dressed in white. Maybe for Lehi's day, he would be dressed in the typical garb that we would associate with a Pharisee or Sadducee. But the fact is, this man did not take him out of his situation. So as he followed him, he got to a dark and dreary waste. And verse 8, and after I had traveled for the space of many hours in darkness, I began to pray unto the Lord that he would have mercy on me according to the multitude of his tender mercies. This is the key to him getting out. He didn't pray before. He didn't beg God for mercy. But as soon as he did, he started to see some results. And it came to pass that after I had prayed unto the Lord, I beheld a large and spacious field. And it came to pass that I beheld a tree whose fruit was desirable to make one happy. And it came to pass that I did go forth and partake of the fruit thereof, and I beheld that it was most sweet above all that I had ever before tasted. Yea, and I beheld that the fruit thereof was white to exceed all of the whiteness that I had ever seen. This whiteness is not so much a color as it is light. It's a symbol of purity, of light. And the fact that it is a fruit means it is ingestible, which means that it can become part of Lehi as he partakes of it. So what has happened here? Lehi, thinking that this man was going to take him where he needed to go and give him the light and knowledge that he needed, found out that no such thing happened. As soon as Lehi knelt down, and instead of connecting to that man, connected directly to heaven, then he started to get this light and knowledge that he was seeking. This connection is one that only we can make by asking. by seeking, by knocking. God says, ask and ye shall receive, knock and it shall be opened unto you. This light that is supposed to come from God will come to us as we use our agency to tie ourselves directly to Him. Our time is up. Feel free to add comments in the section below, and we'll see you in the next episode.